Sorry, guys, just bear with me 1 sec. I'll be off and then I'll come back on.
And we're live. You're very welcome along to the Underground Film Festival's sit and chat with Pete Harris and Brendan Corcoran. Pete, how are you, sir? Pete doesn't want to talk. Brendan.
Hey, Shane.
No, hey.
I let the director go first there.
Are we still doing the intro?
Yeah, no. I think we're live.
Where'd Dave go? Where's the host?
Dave's not here.
Okay, guys. Good afternoon, guys. You're very welcome to Underground Cinema. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We normally do these in the evening after 7 or 8 o'clock. So we're delighted to have with us today. We've got Pete Harris, Shane O'Keefe is with us, and Brendan Corcoran. We're here today just to have a chat about their new independent feature film, The Tale of Billy O.C. Guys, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for having
Dave.
us.
Good to be here.
Yeah, not at all. And we had this is a film. I saw this a couple of weeks back. Shane had sent me the file, and I'd watched it. And at home, I've got a really big screen. I've got a cinema room built in the house. I moved up to this house where I am now about a year ago, and the first thing I did was a man cave, and I put a huge big screen in the room. So it's much better than sitting down looking on a 55 inch. It's nearly 200 inches, and the surround sound around the room. I sat back and I really, really enjoyed this one. It was a fantastic one. You know, I'm a huge fan of independent feature films. This got me from start to finish. Well, absolutely well done. The production values in this were superb. Pete, can you tell us a little bit about the film? Just give the audience just an idea what the film is about, the storyline, if you can.
It's a tricky film to talk about the actual plot because there's a lot of surprises as you can probably appreciate. So it's set in 1970s Kilkenny, rural Ireland, and the murderer of an IRA safe house must be stopped before executing his master plan, is the log line there. There's a lot of surprises. We basically dig into the culture of the time, the threats of the Troubles, although it's not a Troubles film as such. It's more about a rural community in Ireland at the time, which is very rich in culture compared to sort of modern day. How that can, be threatened to be torn apart, and vilification and the degrading of the whole society to do with violence-led political movements, basically.
Maybe Pete will take a quick look at the trailer. Maybe that'll give everyone just a little bit of an idea, a flavour of what the film looks like and what the film's about. So if you bear with me a sec, we'll put it on.
If someone invades your country, you have every right to take up arms and defend it.
That's the Dublin rabbis talking for you right there.
That's it, Tommy. I'm out. I don't care what the lads say.
Let me tell you about your man, who was not my cup of tea.
If any firearms or weapons on the property I need to know about?
Nothing you need to know about.
If you turned your back and your pint was gone. You knew it was rude old Billy O.C.
Did you think I'm going to shoot you at the front door?
I hope you're not making a shite of our name down the village.
He's monitoring this Billy fella. It's our name I was protected in the village.
Not a man for the chat, we'd say. Easy to dismiss. But we never thought in a million years he was capable of this.
Whatever you decide to do, I don't want to know.
What's that you say? I say, plant a bomb, shoot him, and you'll never see me again.
Dara!
This should mean completing the mission, taking out the whole operation. That's all of you.
Jesus, Billy. What did you do?
And that's it, guys. Absolute. It looks absolutely fantastic. Really well done.
I think we got some bandwidth issues, Dave.
Okay, no problem.
You're freezing a bit there.
So when did you start working on the film? How far back does this film go?
Well, I mean, from writing to shooting was about 12 months. So yeah, there was quite a lot of work in the script because of the nature of the timeline jumping around, and a lot of things had to be pretty carefully crafted. The outline of this ended up being about 85% of the final script because I had to keep writing in everything so it all matched up on the mud map. But then, yeah, we went hard scheduling towards like pre-Christmas, wasn't it, Shane? And then we were shooting by the February, where we did a very intensive 3.5-week shoot for the whole lot. We did some reshoots before, and we just got away with finishing it before lockdowns on the main shoot. So we got quite lucky there. And we did a lot of editing over Zoom with myself and Louis, as everyone was learning to do in those times. So yeah, it's been a long time coming in post-production, and we're delighted to be finally starting our festival run now, with our Irish debut this Saturday with yourself, Dave.
Yeah, fantastic, Pete. We're really looking forward to it, and to get the film done. Interviews with some directors and filmmakers last couple of weeks with regard to post-production during lockdown, and what we've noticed is that a lot of the films that were working in post-production during lockdown, the end result is superb, because a lot of directors and editors had much more time. They weren't racing to get a film ready for a particular film festival. They had time in their hands. So in the studio for post-production, more time was spent on films, and as a result, the end result is a much better product. Would you agree with that, Pete, that you may have spent a little bit more time on post-production for this film than you would have in under normal circumstances?
Well, this was my debut feature, so it's hard for me to compare. But yeah, I would say everyone had to learn to be patient in those days, I suppose. It was frustrating, when you get bandwidth issues when you're trying to communicate with people, yeah. And watch the film. You're not going to pick up on a lot of quality issues when you're trying to edit it over a streaming service. So yeah, there was frustrations, and it did take longer, but I guess it was a labour of love for everyone involved. So we just sort of kept plugging away, and everyone had side jobs going at the same time, and we all have day jobs besides. So it was just a matter of being patient, and we knew it could come together well. There's also a stage where you've just seen it too many times. So that's why we had such a long post in the end, is because we got it to what we thought was sort of finished at the time, and then about 12 months later we had a revisit, and we're like, okay, these parts are still annoying us, and we did a lot more refining again. Just little things like audio glitches. It was still running too long in certain scenes. We had to do a few more cuts, that kind of thing. I guess that's an advantage of being in indie, is that you're not having to deal with the finances, breathing down your neck for timelines. We could sort of take our time and just make sure we were happy with it.
Yeah, Brandon, when you got the script for this film, I just did mention it earlier on before we went online. It reminded me of when you get one of those books that it's page turning, you can't put down. You just want to find out it's not something you'd say, I'll read a little bit this morning, and I'll read the rest later on today. You have to read it all in one go. And I was just wondering what your thoughts were when you got the script.
Well, first of all, I was very taken by it, by the script, and I was trying to figure out how an Australian man could write such a script about Irish politics and Irish life, and he captured it so well. I think overall, too, all the characters in it were terrific. I thought the story was wonderful. And of course, I came back to Billy, because if I was playing Billy O.C., I really wanted to get to know this guy. And it's such a complex character. And we kind of workshopped in the early stages. We workshopped Billy and how he would look and behave physically, because he has things wrong with him. And he's carrying a lot of demons inside him. And we got a good handle on the character in the early stages. So when we came to starting rehearsals and production, I was kind of ready for it. But going back to your script, I think certainly I was very taken by the script and very taken by the character. And it was something that I was really looking forward to getting my teeth into, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and as an actor, when you get a script like that, there's an awful lot. There's so much that you can do to it and bring to it. And I thought you brought in, I think you did a fantastic job. And I also thought the rest of the cast and the supporting cast were superb as well. Everybody gelled really well. It just seems to be, it looks like one of those productions where everybody just got on really well and was behind the project, 100%. You get that vibe when you're watching it on the screen.
Yeah, I think very much so. It was very much a unit. It was very much a unit, because all the characters, supporting roles, and the association between them all, they were all very good characters, very well structured, and very well cast, I think, in my opinion. We worked extremely well as a team. And also the crew. I'd like to just mention the crew. The crew did a fabulous job on doing this film. And Pete, of course, his direction was wonderful. We gave it a lot of thought. We rehearsed a lot of it. We talked it through, as you have to do. And the overall thing, it was a wonderful shoot. I thoroughly enjoyed it from start to finish, and loved the character. I just loved the character. There were so many sides to him. He was viewed by the people in the village as just a local nuisance and a drunk, but he had a lot more behind him. He had a life prior to where he is now, and I think he was trying to find his way back to finding himself and fighting those demons. And there was a chance at redemption. And again, like Pete says, I wouldn't like to give too much spoilers away, but there are different sides to Billy. He's not what you see in the early stages as he ends up to be, and he finds himself through redemption. A dark, complex character, which, as I say, I just love playing.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that, Brendan, that you workshop the character, because you know, there are a lot of short filmmakers out there and feature filmmakers out there that wouldn't go to that extent, that wouldn't, you know, workshop a piece like that. Now, my background is theatre, so I would 100% agree that, you know, a character that's got that complex, it would be a good idea to workshop it and you know, talk it through
well, you're actually right there, because my background is theatre as well, and I come from that. So the one thing I wanted to get about this character, you know, apart from his mental side, you know, that there's demons in there, as I said, but there's also a physical nature to the character, because he's a stroke victim. He's had 1 or 2 strokes. So we had to find that physical side to him. And as I worked with Pete on that, and we looked at videos actually of stroke victims, because they can move differently, they can walk differently depending on the situation they find themselves in, because there are many different forms of strokes and how people respond to them. And we found a walk and the way he carried himself, and we went with that. So I think I'm like Daniel Day-Lewis as well. You know, I kept character in between scenes. I always kept the same physicality.
I'm sure the cast and crew enjoyed that, Brendan, and like when yourself and Pete were workshopping this, did you see things that you felt you could add to the script, or did you change the script in any way then, Pete, when you were workshopping with Brendan?
Yeah, I don't think we changed much to the script, Pete. I think we stuck. I mean, the script was very well written anyway.
It is, yeah.
You know, and there was a lot in the unsaid as well, which, you know, there's lots of kind of visual sides of Billy that you see. You can only imagine what he's going through. So it didn't need dialogue. There was that side of it. But I don't think we played around with the script too much. I think I'm right in saying that, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I was open to it, you know, variations in the script to make it more local. Like I'm well aware that, you know, I didn't grow up in, you know, Kilkenny in the 70s, and if you know better, you know, go with it, with the vocabulary and the just the way of speaking. I wanted that to be very authentic, which is why there's so many Kilkenny actors in this. But Brendan was very easy, because he's so professional that he just really what was there is what he did, and better, you know, from script to screen. So so much of Billy comes down to body language to really get his pain, and Brendan just nailed it perfectly, and was very patient too. I mean, it's, as you know, it's a dance between getting, you know, the sound right, the lighting right, the timing right, and everyone has to, you know, get their take right. So it's not just about the actor getting it right once, you know, everyone has to. So the actor can nail it, but you know, still got to do it again, please. So yeah, there was Brendan made it very easy for that side of thing, definitely.
Your cinematographer did an absolutely fantastic job on it as well. Some of his angles looked really good. And, you know, it's really important that you get, you know, the director and the cinematographer on the same page together. I definitely felt that both of you guys were on the same page. And were you happy with the vision? Were you happy with the end result of the work that the DOP did, Pete?
Absolutely. Like, myself and Louis worked very closely together. We worked together a lot previously as well, so we had our own language. You know, we could say what we thought and agree or disagree. We were blessed with locations as well. We had very photogenic locations in the Swifts Heath House and Duckett's Grove in Inchteague, Louis. Really just kept a keen eye for the best angles and lighting and everything. And, you know, we'd just sort of go with a lot of gut instinct on a lot of it. We didn't have a lot of time on locations before we were there shooting. So, I'm delighted with the visuals of it. the size of the film that I don't know if you're getting this crackling that I'm getting. The size of the film ended up being much larger than we anticipated in first planning out a budget, and that was just down to the passion, like you say, of everyone involved and the giving of themselves, and just really getting behind the project, and a lot of people helping us out with locations and cars and just being generous, really. So it was very much a community film in the end, with the amount of contributors was exceptional, and we were very lucky.
Yeah, like the secret to a really good short or feature film is surround yourself with really good people, and that's what you've done here. And Shane, you've done a fantastic job, helping to put this together. I watched it with my producer hat on the first time, because I've watched it twice and I've started watching it again there this morning for the third time. But I sit down and watch it as a producer, and everything's going through my head. How did he get the cars? Who's the contact to get the costumes? Who's the first AD on this? They did a fantastic job. So an awful lot of that is down to the producer has an awful lot to bear on the shoulders. Did you enjoy working on this one, Shane?
Oh, it was absolute madness. Like the first day of shooting, it was meant to be a summer scene, and it started snowing. And it was snowing the night before, it's just crazy little things like that. But going back to getting everything involved, like working with Kilkenny actors, like the reason I got into theatre was because of the man down at the bottom screen, Mr. Brendan Corcoran. Kilkenny has such a rich, I wanted to act across him, and I got to do that with all my sons. And it was one of my favourite moments on stage. Kilkenny has such a rich history of actors and amateur theatre that you had so many people just really wanted to see them even shine on screen. So makeup artist in Michael Brown, he was amazing. He was completely on board. He even scarred me up for whatever scene that I was in. Joan Brennan, who you were talking about, the costumes, did amazing. Steve Nolan did great work. We were finding like matchboxes and cigarettes that are from the time, and they were contributed by a pub that had a tobacco museum, and finding all these little nuggets that are in Kilkenny that can be used. Everyone was just so happy to help it along. And over the past whatever amount of years that I've been involved in this, you meet these people along the way from Kilkenny, because we generally lose a lot of our creatives up to, say, bigger cities. People that are still here that just want to see something happen within the city. And Pete, it is a city, not a town, as one of the colloquialisms that we use in the film, But just so many people are just so happy to help out along the way, and I was blown away by it.
Yeah, like the production values are superb. You can see an awful lot of thought has gone into the piece, to get the right cars, to get the right matchboxes. A lot of thought is gone into it. Actually, you're right about Kilkenny. I've performed in Kilkenny. The very first time I was on stage in Kilkenny, would you believe, was in the Cat Club. That was back in the early 90s. I was doing shows down there, and the talent in Kilkenny is fantastic. It's not all about the big cities, Dublin and Cork and Belfast per se. And I've moved from Dublin to the Midlands. I'm in Longford now, but you can see a lot of the cities and towns outside of the big cities are all doing fantastic work at the moment. There's some really good up and coming filmmakers on the horizon, and we're going to be screening a lot of them over the weekend. I was sort of the unsung hero of an independent film is the AD. Who's your AD in this film? Shane.
I think it was yeah. See, right. The thing with this film is, right, there's a lot of titles that get traditionally thrown around in movies. For independent films, it doesn't really work like that, because you're working with a limited crew. So you are whatever is needed on the day. If you need to be standing in a river, holding something up or holding a boom mic so that's what you'll do. You're the sound man for the day. If you need to go and get the lunches for people, that's what you do. In my case, if I needed to act in a scene, that's what you do. If you need to get people there on time, that's what we're all doing different things, because there's such, it's not a massive budget. There's so many things that need to be done that you just do what needs to be done to get it over the line. And that's why I think being the AD it's great having that title or whatever, but there were so many people helping out. Being a producer, great to have that title. So many people producing and helping out along the way. So while it's great, as I said, to have first AD or whatever, it's just it's just balls to the wall for the 3 weeks that you're shooting, and you'll do whatever needs to be done to get it over the line. And I think that's the spirit of independent filmmaking as well.
And we're all just delighted to handball our stress to Shane, and it was quite entertaining watching it all boil out of his eyeballs. It kept us all alive.
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, if you watch the Oscars or the IFTAs, there's no award for an AD, which is a crying shame. They're to me that they're the unsung heroes. And joking aside, they're vitally important. When you're working on an independent film with a very, with a low budget, if you don't have a good AD will keep the show on the road. He'll make sure that you don't overrun, by a day or two, because when you start overrunning, it's going to start costing you money. If you have to start doing pickups, it's going to cost. You're going to have to feed more people. So a good AD keeps the show on their own. But they're also, a good AD is a people person as well, because he has to be an actor, Brendan, as well, because you got to switch on so many different personalities when you're dealing with a big crew. You'll be dealing with 20 different personalities there. You got to be able to manage each one of them and keep the whole thing together without it falling apart. So I have an awful lot of time for anybody that takes on that role, and you can feel it when you're watching a film that everybody's put their blood, sweat and tears into this particular production. Your running time is really good as well. It's bang on, and I thought I like the choice of music as well, even in the trailer. I like the piece that you did in the trailer. Do you want to have a chat about that, Pete? The score and the music.
Yeah, well, again, music, we got very lucky. So the beauty of doing an Irish independent film is that you have so much trad that isn't copyrighted, so that you need it performed. So we contacted various local artists that had done really good, nice recordings of traditional pieces, and got permission from them. And besides that, I suppose we're lucky that we were in lockdown during post-production, so we got the likes of Brian and James from the band Keeler who did the actual score. And it was an exceptional quality. It really adds to the film. It's definitely a standout of the film is the score, and it's just eerie tones done with Irish pipes and a mixture of prog rock 70s music that was sort of popular at the time and is still very good to listen to now. So it was nice to have those tones, mixing the trad with the 70s rock, in different scenes, and you could really nail the mood in using that. Great for suspense as well. We took out Best Mystery in the Cannes World Festival the other day, and I think that the best part of the mystery side of it, you'd have to put to the score, because it really gives the suspense thriller side a really nice kick.
Yeah, you didn't go down the road of the cliched Irish soundtrack, for your type of film. You could have easily done it. When I was watching it, I have great respect for the likes of Jim Sheridan and In the Name of the Father, and Neil Jordan as well, who they use scores really well in their films. There's sort of the same sort of style that you've used in your own film, Pete. So it's and you're right. It carries that sort of tension, and it's pivotal for the film. If you didn't have a score like that, I don't think the film would be, it's a great film, but it just adds it up a notch with that score. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we're calling in favors as well from bands like Show Lynn, people who like they have a Kilkenny connection. You talked about kind of people doing different things. Louis, who was the DOP, him and David Slattery, who was in Dicement, they did recording of music for different things. Bands like Beef Supreme, who we shot music videos for before, lended us some songs. So like it's amazing that you have someone like Keela doing it, and then having these little sprinkles of nuggets from different artists been able to contribute to it. But it's people that you've worked with before and have a good rapport of, and they want to see it get off the ground too. So that was pretty overwhelming at times. People just being so generous to even write a bit for the film.
Yeah, you're right. I think Irish musicians in general are very generous with their time. I mean, I think about like the likes of Damien Dempsey, who's worked on a lot of Mark O'Connor's films over the years, and you know, they give up a lot of their time to help independent filmmakers. It's absolutely fantastic. The film is going to premiere this Saturday in Dunleary. Where is it off to next? Is there anywhere else it's going, Shane?
There's a few more kind of film festivals on the horizon, some in consideration, some we're still waiting to kind of announce that we've been picked for. Between myself and Pete, we have like targets almost, because you have to be strategic almost in this kind of thing, which is a bit mad, like that, and that's new for us too. So hopefully we have Mise en Scene. They're the agents for the film, so you know, with the scene that we pick up from film festivals and how many we get into, how well we do at various different ones, you know, that might make it more attractive to an international audience as well as an Irish audience, because I think that's going to be big as well, to see if it translates to an international audience. And it certainly seems to have so far. It's picking up accolades in France and in India and in Estonia. There was a billboard with Mr. Brendan Corcoran in Estonia, and I sent it on to him. I said, "That's you in Estonia," and he had a little smile across his face. So that was cool to get to look. He's smiling now. That's cool for me to get to see him smile. So so other than that, you know, it's depending maybe on how well it does. I don't know. It's all new territory for us. So.
Well, look what you've done. Let's have a quick chat about film. So, Film Freeway is probably it's one of the best platforms for submitting your films for a filmmaker, but also as a festival director. It's an incredible tool. So we get hundreds of submissions in, and as you can imagine, we're the type of festival that watches us from start to finish. We don't scan them. We watch them.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, and I'm a terrible nosy person as well. Like I'll watch it to the very end till it's black, till there's a little dot at the end, because I want to know who everybody is on that film. And I like to say, oh, there's Shane. I know Shane. I know. Oh, there's Pete. I know. I'm just that type. I need to know who made this film. So if they're down at Underground Cinema, I can have a chat with them and say, listen, you did a fantastic job. And so when someone sends their work through on Film Freeway, one of the first things that sort of catches my eye when I'm looking through hundreds of films is the poster. I love a production company that puts a bit of time and effort into creating a really good poster. The posters that I hate are screen grabs, off the screen, and somebody just types the text in across it. The tail of Billy O'Shea and a shot of Brendan, just screenshot. I love a really good poster that's put a lot of thought into it. It's really catchy, and that caught my eye. Your artwork on that post is fantastic. It's a really nice one for the film. You happy with that, Pete?
You can see it over Pete's shoulder there, yeah.
Yeah, I could say. I thought I recognised it there. Yeah, it's right in the corner over there on the left. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Delighted with it. That was actually Shane. Do you have the name of the
no, it's one of Louis' friends.
It's
amazing though.
It was a long time ago. He actually did that just as a exercise for us, and we're absolutely stoked with it. I'd have to actually dig it up again. So we're getting back into all that kind of stuff now. The marketing push. As you say, like with the festivals, we're only beginning this run really. So we'll do about 12 months, and we'll be in a whole variety. So we've gone through a few monthlies until now. Now we're starting these annual ones from this weekend. So we'll probably be looking at a public release somewhere between beginning of the year and summer next year, and we'll go through that kind of thing. Probably put a new trailer together and a new poster and that kind of thing. But yeah, I am delighted with the poster.
Dara Crimmins in Carlo.
Dara, that's it. Dara Crimmins. Thank you, Dara.
It's a really nice poster. It's sort of an eye-catching one. So when you go through all the films and you spot a poster like that, you'll start reading about it straight away, and you'll probably drop everything and then look at the trailer, and then you're watching the film straight away. So I think it's a really catchy one. I think Brendan should get an A0 for his bedroom of that poster and a big
I'm
frame.
actually in the studio here where that was taken, actually, just behind me.
Really?
Yeah.
Behind the arch curtain, yeah.
We spent quite a while actually trying to get that various looks and the idea with the match, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it warm to it as well?
My fingers were burnt considerably when we were trying to do that.
We actually did it. We actually did it twice. We had a pre-production one before, because we had about 5 months warning for once we secured acting to shooting. So everyone grew lots of hair because it was the 75 look, and Brendan especially. So when you see the pre-production one, he's all clean shaven, his hair's all cut up, and just doesn't look right now. It really worked well by the time you grew it all.
But I remember as well when we were actually shooting that, we were actually just taking photographs and trying to get that look right and get the match right and everything else. And still, it was early stages, and it was still a way of working on the mental aspect of the character, funnily enough. To me, it wasn't just a photo shoot. I was, we were looking for a certain look, and we tried all sorts of looks. And that was workshopping it still, even at that stage, which was great.
And we had a second poster as well that included like a lot more cast, because as much as we talk about the crew, like the actors that are in it, really deserve some praise as well. The likes of Tony Kelly, who played Sergeant Cooper, who's you may have seen Tony's work before, and he has some big things coming up as well that we worked with him on. He was so good in that role of Sergeant Cooper. You have Sophie Merry, who was in it, and some Paul Boyle, who was in the Young Offenders. Big Paul, like, he's such an intimidating character. So there's been they were all on another poster, but we just felt with that one, it kind of just gets the whole tone of the movie, I think.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier as well, I think everybody deserves mention because the film works very well as a unit. In many ways, you're as good as who you're working with, etc., etc. And everybody, I thought, was perfectly cast, and that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, like I was saying before about how much of a community thing it was, and how lucky we were. The acting was absolutely standout. Like you mentioned at the beginning, Dave, that we just, people did just gel. And we're extremely lucky like that. We got a great variety of characters out of it. So the tendency can be with when you're going the more lower budget indie films, is all the actors sort of look like they're from the same group of friends, or they're from the same type of people, kind of thing. But we got a huge variety. We're really lucky with that's expanse of acting abilities that to the variety of characters. It just makes it so much more interesting to watch than feeling like you're watching a bunch of lads putting on a show, kind of thing.
Pete, you mentioned earlier on, was this your first feature?
Yeah, first feature. I've done a lot of animation before, and I had worked with the Diceman before that with web series animations, which turned into kind of corporate video animations, a lot of comedy. And then we decided to do a live action short, which is that other poster behind me, which has got Shane looking very miserable there, which we shot down my way in East Galway on a one-day shoot. So I wrote, directed that as well, and Shane also acted, and we sort of co-produced and put it all together. Very, very skeleton crew, very skeleton. Whoever we could grab, kind of acting. It had to be one day. There was no budget for anyone staying the night, so that was our first sort of go at it. And then we thought about, should we make another short? And then we thought, well, let's just go for a feature. It was probably only since we said that, probably about 12 months later, we were shooting. And let's tell you about the long post and all that. But no, it was a great venture. Really enjoyed being on set with everyone. Great cast, great crew. We had just a good vibe about it. And everyone put in a lot of energy. It was a sprint, even though it was 3.5 weeks, we all fell in a heap at the end of 3.5 weeks, but everyone was just on high alert for the whole period. And it worked. Yeah. We're delighted with what we came out with from the initial concept. It ended up being much bigger, much prettier, much better talent, and everything that we could have imagined, music. We really we are proud of this film, and we just want as many people to see it now as possible. The hardest thing we find being an indie, where you don't have the big Hollywood credits to get people to want to watch it, is just getting people to watch it. But the feedback is, once they do, they love it. So that's the big task ahead of us now, is just getting people to give it a go.
Well, I think you guys did an absolutely fantastic job. I mean, I'm watching features and indie features a lot of time now, so it really ticked all the boxes for me. So we're delighted to be screening it. We're screening it this Saturday at 6:30 in the Royal Marine Hotel. It's a busy day for us, so we've a lot of filmmakers down throughout the day. We have a brilliant short film program that starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and runs right the way up until your feature film. So it would encourage as many filmmakers who are down in the hotel throughout the day. It's a good day as well, Saturday, to hang on and catch your film at 6:30. It's not too late. You'll still be able to get the bus or the train home. And it's one thing about underground cinema is when you're down at the festival, it's there's a great film festivals are broken down 50%, like this. 50% of the festival is the film itself, and the other 50% is the networking. So you get a lot of filmmakers down, a lot of actors that are down, that come down to watch the films, and then afterwards they end up chatting in the bar, and 2 or 3 weeks later, they're meeting in Dublin, or they're meeting in Cork, or they're meeting in Kilkenny to discuss the script. And a year later, they've got a short film or a feature film under their belt. There's a lot of collaboration goes on, not just at our film festival, at all independent film festivals around the country in Ireland. A lot of that goes on. So independent filmmaking in Ireland is absolutely booming. The standards gone through the roof. Compared, if you look back at when we first started 14 years ago, if you wanted to edit a film, you'd be hiring out an edit suite in Philibase and Temple Bar in Dublin and paying through the nose for that suite, where people are now editing those films in their bedroom. The technology has got so good now, and the standard is excellent. One thing that did happen during COVID, and I mentioned it in the last interview that we did, was the script writing has improved enormously. So during lockdown, we've seen some fantastic scripts where people had nothing but time to write really well. And the end result is this year's festival, we're seeing some brilliant new storylines in a lot of new short films and feature films. And we can't wait to show them off this weekend, including yours. Guys, really well done. I wish you nothing but success. If any of your team are down on the festival, they'll get a warm welcome by us down in Dunleary. We really can't wait to see it. Pete, we'll send feedback to you in Australia. We'll let you know how it got on. And we have a lot of photographers. We've got some great photographers down with us, so we'll send you on photographs of the event as well.
Pete's going.
I'll be there, Dave. I'll be there. Yeah, I'm only in Galway.
He lives in Galway.
I won't be getting the bus home.
I was saying, God, he must be still in Australia because we're doing an interview at 4:30 in the afternoon. What time is it in Australia?
What time is it in Galway?
Well, look, we can't wait to see them, Pete. We really can't.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely be there, Dave. Yeah, no, there's good crew of us coming. Yeah, it'll be great fun and be good to catch up with everyone again.
Look forward to meeting
guys.
you.
Well, thanks a million for a chat. This interview is on Facebook now. It's on Twitter. It's on our website, so you can look back at it later on. So, thank you very much, Pete, Shane, and Brandon. Well done.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Thanks a million.
Cheers.